Hi guys, welcome to another episode. I think I'm going to go with Fat Albert's Hey 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 I really genuinely need an intro guys. But anyway, welcome to another episode of Randomly Marley. Story time! Today, I'm going to tell you about the time I traveled for the first time out of Africa and how I suffered accent barrier guys. It's a real thing. Accent barrier is a real thing, you guys. Like, you know how there's language barrier, like you may fail to understand someone because your languages are like there's just no close connection and you're stuck. Accent barrier is an actual real genuine thing in my opinion. I know this because I suffered this, and generally as a person I'd like to think that I'm really good with accents. I think you may or may not have noticed that because every video I do, I go through at least 2-3 accent switches. My most common accent, of course, is Ugandan accent because I'm Ugandan, I live in Uganda, so it is what it is. But I usually have a bit of an American accent here and there, you know, some form of American accent. And once in a while, the British accent comes along as well, which is, I traveled British Airways actually that time when I was traveling, and as soon as I boarded the plane, flight mode activated, my accent switched. I remember I was on the plane and the lady was like, "Hi, good afternoon, what can I get you to drink? We've got juice, we've got water, we've got wine, we've got..." And I was like, "Oh, okay. What kind of juice do you have? I think I'd like some juice." Generally, you get the gist. So accents for me generally are not like a struggle area. So I thought, oh yeah, I'm going. Then Canadian accents are very similar to American accents. I'm always watching American movies. Like generally, as people, I think we all think that we can understand an American accent, a North American accent or something. So I went and I'm like, accent. Like in my mind, it didn't even occur to me that there would be any issues with an accent. Like it's not the same as a language. So like in the list of problems that I expected to find, that one wasn't there. I traveled to, it was the year was 2015. Was it? 2016. I traveled to Canada because my family lives there, my mom and my siblings and my stepdad. And so I'd gone to see the people, visit them, see how they're doing and everything. So I left here, I went there for the summer, I spent about 3 months. Now generally as a person, I usually adapt well to situations and environments for as long as I set my mind to it, like I've decided, oh you know what, I need to get acquainted with the place and everything. So I worked while I was there, so many things. So within a short period of time, I could find my way around the city. So I knew which buses to take, which buses went where, how to get to where to go shopping, what kind of things I wanted to shop for. If I needed this, get it here. If I needed this, get it there. Like generally, I adapted well. Then one day, I went shopping with my little brother. So at that time, I don't remember, but 4 years ago, I was 19. 20. Doesn't matter, but I was a certain number of years old. I don't remember, but I think I was about 19 turning 20, but I'm 25 now. This was before my birthday, so I think 19 going on 20. So my little brother would then have been maybe 11 even. He's 8 years younger than me. I don't have that time to do that math, but yeah. So my little brother has always been very humorous. Makato, this is about you, just in case you're wondering which little brother. He's always had such a sense of humor which intrigues me. It can be a bit wicked sometimes. I'm going to explain why. This is the story. So we left the house together. I think we rode our bicycles because in the summer, like life is chill. So we rode our bicycles, we went to the shop, and we were buying some stuff like groceries and everything. So of course, generally there was a whole cultural shock for me, first of all, because the way things happen there and the way things are done in Uganda, there is, you know, notable difference. So one of the differences that you notice is that when you go to supermarkets, usually people carry their own bags where you put the stuff, because otherwise you pay for your bag. So here in Uganda, I think ShopRite does that. That's the only place I know. Generally, you get free caveras with all your shopping, right? If it's 5 bags, you get 5 free bags. If it's 10, they're 10. Of course, maybe they've included that in the cost of the item, but generally you're not paying extra for it. So we get to the supermarket, we shop for our things, blah blah blah. I think about we had bags. My mom kept reminding me to carry bags every time I was going grocery shopping. But because normally when I'm shopping, it's not a thing that I do. I may have it like I may have them stuffed inside a bag I'm carrying, but it's not the first thing that I remember. So we get to the counter and the chick is, running. We get to the till and the chick is, running the things through the scanner, blah 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 and everything. Then she asks me, so we're like a bag of that. I'm like, huh? We're like a bag of that. I'm like, pardon? Then she said, would you like a bag of that? So she was speaking really fast. Her accent was so strange and so new to me. So, she said again, would you like a bag of that? So I just, that kind of nod that you do and that really dumb smile when someone has said something and you haven't heard what they've said, but you don't want to, you're tired of repeating yourself, or you don't want them to repeat themselves. So you just like smile and nod or something. That's what I did. So this person said, am I in that for like the third time? And I was like, okay, or something. Like I said something really dumb that I guess she figured, that she helped her to figure that I hadn't really understood. I was just like, okay. I was like, okay, sure, or something along those lines. So it was really obvious that I hadn't understood what she had asked. So I'm like, okay. So anyway, this went on. It actually went on. So the last time, then she said, so she looked at me, like I said, okay, and like nodded my head or something, and she figured I hadn't understood. So she looked at me, she smiled, and she said it again, which I'm like, So I looked at my brother, because I was like confused and stuck, and he laughed. He was like, oh my god. So I looked at him, I'm like, I need your help at this, I need your intervention because I'm stuck, it is beyond me, just help. So he looked at me, he laughed, then he said, she's asking if you would like a bag with that, a Kavera. I'm like, oh my god. Oh, I'm like, I really didn't hear anything. Then I looked at my brother and I said, but then you as a person, you watched me for 30 minutes fighting with this chick and said nothing. He's like, I just wanted to see if you'd figure it out. I guess you didn't. And yeah. And then he just continued laughing and I was like, wow, what a person in this life. But yes, that's the day that I concluded that there really was such a thing as accent barrier. It's a bad thing, it's terrible, it's ridiculous, it's just wow. I was shook. I was like, okay, this is incredible. So yes, accent barrier is real. So I'm trying to see in my head as well if I can remember like a few other things that have, like a few other things where I struggled in terms of like accent barrier in that same holiday while I was there. The next time I went back, of course, I was a bit more well versed, so I knew the things better and everything, but I really genuinely was stuck and struggling. Canadians, first of all, call soda pop. Like I think POP, like so pop, call it pop. So I remember we had gone for, in the summer, there are all sorts of yard sales and things happening, or festivals and stuff like that. So I think we'd gone for like a festival, and there was a stand, right, for drinks, and so it was a little kid who was running the stand, like I guess it was, his dad saw everything, but he knew what to do and whatever. So I go there and I'm like, yes, soda is a good idea. So I'm like, hi, can I have a soda? And the kid just looked at me with so much, do you know, like when someone is speaking, like imagine someone looks at me, they know that I'm Ugandan, they know that I've lived here, most of my life, and they know generally that I don't know maybe Mandarin, and they come to me and they speak to me in Mandarin. Like, do you really expect me to understand? I'm not going to understand. So that's the way this kid looked at me, like I had treated him like that. Like, I know you don't understand this language, but I'll insist on speaking it anyway. I'm like, can I have a soda? He's like, huh? I'm like, soda. So in my head, I'm like, am I saying it wrong? So I'm like, can I have a soda? Like, first of all, generally my accent was already that accent. So I'm like, can I have a soda? A soda? I want a soda. Then my dad was standing around, so he heard me and he laughed. Like, here in Canada, we call it pop. I'm like, oh my god. So I'm like, oh, okay, can I have a pop? But still, pop isn't enough. Like, you term it by its color. So Fanta is orange pop. Why are you disorganizing my life? Why are you disorganizing my head? Never chupa, never jeta Fanta. Why are you telling me orange pop manya, yellow pop manya? Anyway, so he said, yeah, it was orange pop. That's what they call Fanta. I really don't drink soda anymore, but the sodas that I would drink, I was really a Fanta person. So that's the only pop that I was able to learn. I don't know if Sprite is clear pop or white pop or whatever, and Coke is black pop. I think Coke is just Coke, but the rest, generally, it was such a struggle. And then one other thing, this one was from actually my most recent trip. We were in an Uber and I was carrying bags. I had 2 suitcases. So I get the Uber guy, I greet him, I'm like, hi, how are you, blah, blah. Then I'm like, oh, could you help me open the boot? I'd like to put some stuff in the boot. And then I was with my aunt and either my sister or my cousin, I actually don't remember. And then they both looked at me and shouted, they're like, the trunk. I'm like, oh my god, guys. Then when the Uber guy was like, oh, the trunk. I'm like, y'all are really boring me right now. So yeah, in case you're here and you're planning to go to Canada to visit, to move, to live, to study, hopefully this is some useful information. If you ever go to the supermarket and they ask you, they're probably saying, would you like a bag with that? And by bag they mean Kavera. Like, do you want them to add the price of a Kavera to the bill, or do you have your own bags that you've carried where you can put your stuff? If you'd like to ask for a soda, you don't call it soda, you call it pop. Don't say pop, because pop is Ugandan English. It's pop. You gotta have the accent. You ask for a pop. And if it's Fanta, it's orange pop. If it's something else, I don't know what it's called. Coca-Cola is still Coca-Cola. That's the universal name. Yeah. There's no such thing as a boot on a car. It is a trunk. Maybe I'll do a whole other episode, by the way, on just like language discrepancies, language differences and accent differences in some of the places I've been to, if I can gather enough content on that to make like a follow-on video. But yes, generally accent barrier is a thing, a real thing. Come at me if you must, but I've lived it. I can tell you there's a real problem in this life, in this city, in this country, in this continent, in this generation. Like, there is a thing called accent barrier. It is there. And yeah, I experienced it the very first time I left Africa. For the first time. Generally, if you travel within Africa, like, there are slight accent differences, I think, but they're not as bad and not as blatant, or at least in my experience. Like, you can still sort of understand, but here, especially if someone speaks fast, like, you're stuck, you're in trouble, it's just really difficult. So yeah, but thank you guys for watching. This has been another episode of Randomly Marley. Please make sure you comment below, share your stories if you've had dealt with accent barrier or like slight differences in the language, or just what stood out for you from this episode. Share it with your friends. What else? Turn on the notification bell so that you can know whenever I am posting another episode. Of course, we're in the Vlogmas season, so every single day I will be posting a video. So if you turn on your post notifications, you'll be able to know the moment a new video drops, so that if you're free, you can watch it, and if you're busy, you know, you'll still see the notification as soon as you open YouTube, and you'll be able to watch it first. Right. Subscribe if you haven't already. Encourage your friends to subscribe, like the video, all that fun YouTube lingo. I feel like you guys watch so many YouTube videos, so you know the drill, you know what to do. You watch so many of mine, you know the drill, you know what to do the drill. Okay, great. My name is Marley Keshmaza. This has been another episode of Randomly Marley. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.